Should you have two drivers in your golf bag? A 3-wood, a mini driver? There's a lot of questions. It seems like a lot of people are doing a lot of different stuff, and today we're going to dive into it. You are listening to the GolfWell podcast. My name is Cordy Walker. I am your host, and this is a show all about getting better at golf. It's diving into all the strange tactics, habits, performance, gear, tech, all that stuff that helps us get better at the game. This is our first GolfWell podcast. I know that might be weird because you're saying like, oh, I think I've heard you before. Well, it used to be called Golf Science Lab. I was looking back. I actually started this 10 years ago in 2015, Golf Science Lab. That's pretty nuts. And this is our first episode of GolfWell. We rebranded in January 2025 here, and we're back. And I wanted to have some conversations on the podcast here, and so we're firing it back up because there's some good ideas I've been having, great conversations. It's like, man, I gotta share some of this with folks. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for commenting. I saw some of the comments of like, hey, where's the podcast? So well, here it is. You found it. So what's the plan going forward? Well, I'm going to hop on here when something like honestly really interesting happens. So hopefully at least once a month, twice a month, kind of join y'all here with an interesting guest to talk through a topic. And today we are talking with Marty Jertson. He is the VP of Fitting and Performance at Ping. And I saw his tweet from Neil Shipley talking about how he has two drivers in the bag. And it was pretty interesting. And so I reached out. I was like, man, you got to tell me what you guys are doing. Like, how are you thinking about this? And like, should I put two drivers in my golf bag? Honestly, that was the question. And he answered all those and more. Great conversation. Appreciate his time hopping on. Let's get back into our first GolfWell podcast. That's pretty cool.
All right, Marty. So we are having a chat on Twitter about mini driver because Neil Shipley had this really great little insight about how he has this cut down driver that only carries 280. His normal driver carries 300. That's kind of an interesting thing. And so I wanted to hear, like, what are you guys building over there? And like, what are some of these clubs that tour pros are asking for from you?
Yeah, no, it's been fun. We've seen a dabbling of this over, like, let's call it the last 10 years, whether it's Phil at Augusta, but maybe it's sort of clouded with, well, he needs a draw club and a slice club, But then we've seen other players do it, like Ben Silverman, PGA Tour player. He's played our 12-degree G410 is his second driver for a long time. Nobody knows about it. It's like not in the news and the media. Well, then fast forward today, we got folks like, Finau did it at the Masters last year, a couple of years ago. You got Neil Shipley doing it. We got Preston Summerhays playing like a 12-degree driver. And what these guys are kind of realizing, Cordy, is that if you hit the ball far, if you're playing big golf courses, tour golf courses, you just really don't need your 3-wood off the ground that much, or is a percentage of like your contribution to your score, like hitting the high 3-wood into a par 5 and make an eagle, like those days are kind of gone. Like it's just not that important. It's so rare of a shot that, and then as far as these guys are hitting the ball now, the Neil Shipleys, like hitting the fairway and optimizing that tee shot for accuracy is a premium, right? And like, the moment of inertia you get in, let's say, a 12-degree G440 max driver is literally 3 to 5 times more than a 3-wood. And so, like, your ability to improve your like left-right dispersion, your cone, however you want to measure it, can go up. Like you could reduce your left-right dispersion by 40 to 60%. We've seen in our testing, and that's what these guys are doing on the tour level.
So walk me through it. So I would have my normal driver that's maxed out for distance and dispersion and whatever, I don't know what the guys are playing at, but 45 and a half or something like that, right?
Yep.
And then they're going to get another driver, more loft in the head, much shorter shaft, and then less club head speed, more spin kind of deal. Is that okay?
Yeah, so what we're doing from the build and fitting standpoint is you're using the loft, and we use our 12-degree, usually our, is our G430, now G440 max 12-degree head is our go-to head. Then we can use our sleeve to kind of dial in the loft. And that head has a true loft at the middle of like 13 and a half degrees. So it says 12 on the sole, but it's really in the face center, it's 13.5 degrees. So that adds spin, adds a lot of loft, adds a lot of control, obviously. Then we use the shaft length to kind of get it to go the distance you need it to. So we've built these as short as like 42 inches up to like 43.5. The sweet spot is really like 43 inches. If you take your 3-wood shaft, plug it in there, obviously we got to adjust the head weight, swing weight. It'll be about 43.25 inches. And that's about what I play mine. Like I just plugged a 3-wood shaft in there.
And it doesn't just balloon, like it just doesn't go, you're fitting it so it goes lower.
It launches low, because it's like, okay, most of the guys, when you're hitting off the tee, Cordy, you tee it low, obviously. So, those folks out there, the face has curvature on it, left to right. That's called the bulge. Then you got the top bottom curvature called the roll. And when you tee it low or hit it off the ground, like where the loft of where you hit it is much lower than that 13.5. So most folks, when they hit it off the tee, you're going to tee it pretty low. I mean, Arizona, Cordy, like Bermuda in the summer, I just like little miniature Laura Davies type thing. You can just put a little tuft of grass and just chip it off the ground and have tons of control. So where you're hitting it has less loft. So it's lower launching, usually based on tee height, and it's short. So the shorter you go, the more the handle's going to be the forward at impact, right? Like I don't know, a wedge, you know what I mean? You got tons of shaft length. So you're gonna have more shaft length to launch it lower, and you use that shaft length to control the ball speed and get what you're optimizing for is like a certain distance, obviously. Okay. And then how can I maximize accuracy at that, whatever it is? Shipley, it's 280. For me, it's like 275, So it's like it's a distance, like I needed to go this number. And then how can I minimize the dispersion for a club for a shot that goes 270 to 280, and using literally a driver head that's 460 cc's and near somewhere in the ballpark of 10,000 MOI combined is just astonishing how straight you can hit it.
Interesting. Okay. And so you're aiming to hit it on the lower part of the driver to keep it lower then. Right.
Generally speaking, I mean, I think different players can have different tee height strategies. Like, Cordy, I'll give you an example myself. I've been using this build for like 2 years now, and it's really fun in Arizona golf, like desert golf. But let's say I have like a drivable par 4 that's, maybe it's 300 and a little downwind, or and maybe you want to fly it, missing short of the green or front bunker, something's good. I'll tee it up and send it, launch it high, tip back a little bit more, like, do all those things and launch it at, whatever, 14 to 16 degrees. But my stock one, the fairway finder, you can tee it low and kind of chip it out there.
Got it.
So you actually have a lot of diversity from that perspective.
Okay. So wait, are you putting this in the bag with your normal driver? Like, do you have both in the bag at the same
100%.
time? You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Do most guys, or how are most people doing it?
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
And this is the nuanced insight. And I think what we're doing so much cool research here at the Proving Grounds and like mining data. A big thing, Cordy, that we're trying to do is be like, how are people playing golf on the golf course, and how can we make club fitting and like, how do you optimize the 14 clubs in your bag? This is going to be very different for everybody. So the big insight with this, we like to call it the thriver, 3-wood driver or macro driver, is that if you hit the ball far, when I say far, like 280 or more, you're gonna hit your lowest lofted fairway wood or club, whatever it is. In this case, it's gonna be a driver, off the tee a majority of the time. And we have the sweet chart. I think you saw it on that infographic. Like, if you hit the ball 300 yards, you're going to hit your 3-wood off the ground 80% of the time on average. And that's a conglomeration of big data from our Arcos partnership that looks like the percentage of the time you hit off the ground versus the turf. Obviously, Cordy, there's going to be exceptions if you play a certain golf course where like all the par 5s you're ripping 3-wood in for your second shot. This ratio is going to change, but that's kind of a high level finding. So that's why this really primarily is a club for the fast swing speed players, because the 3-wood is off the ground is just proportionally such a not an important shot overall on your scoring from a strokes gained scoring standpoint. But on the flip side, Cordy, let's say you drive the ball 200 yards, it's gonna teeter totter. Where now hitting it off the ground, you're gonna hit this lowest lofted fairway off the ground 80% of the time and maybe never hit it off the tee. And then the 50 spot is right at 250 yards. You're going to hit off the ground in the tee with equal priority. And this is driving how we're designing the fairway woods, how we test them, how we optimize them, how we fit them. Like quite often you go in as a better player and you're like, okay, let's hit 3 woods, and you're just trying to roast them off the deck. Well, you might rarely need that shot.
Yeah.
And then the high handicapper is like, oh, let me tee this up for you. You're having a hard time hitting off the ground. Well, actually, no, you need to go to our new 4 wood or a 5 wood or something like that to hit it off the ground successfully. So we're using big data to inform our design decisions and then our club fitting protocols. This is just a perfect example of that.
Crazy. Okay, so the new pitch is, I guess that you're telling most players, hey, you hit over 280, get 2 drivers. Then
I
and
like
you
that idea.
and you hit it 220. What would be the tip? Is it the 50? I mean, 225. Somebody has a driver 225. Then yes, let's get a 4 wood or 3 wood.
Yeah, I like hey, if you're around, if you drive it 225 or less, your number one priority with your fairway wood, and this could be either our 3 wood, 4. We launched a 4 wood this year. This data is all kind of part of our decision to bring a 4 wood into our G440 family, Cordy, or like 5 wood. Just a lot of great fitting options. Prioritize hitting that ball off the ground, right? You're going to need that into long par 4s. You're going to need, long for you. You're going to need that into par 5s quite a bit. Like most of the time, just assume like pretty much every time you're hitting that ball off the ground. And if you're a 250 player, so let's say like plus or minus 25 yards, if you're 225 to 275, give equal priority to hitting off the ground off the tee, even where you're going in for a fitting. You're fortunate enough to go to an outdoor fitting environment, hit half of your shots off the tee, half of them off the ground. Consider both of the performance impacts of both of those with equal weight. Then if you're a fast swing speed player, obviously consider your golf course. If you play one course, you're always now off the ground, put a little more priority at hitting off the ground. But if not, try this 12-degree driver build, plug a fairway wood shaft in there, and see if you like it. We've seen incredible results.
Got it. Is it pretty automatic that if you cut it down that short and go with that loft, that it goes about 20, 30 yards shorter? Is that pretty much standard for most people?
Yeah. Let's say you hit your driver. Shipley's a good example. I'd be another good example. My colleague here, Jim Canals, came straight off the tour, put one in the bag, and Mondayed into San Diego this year using the Thriver, hitting the Thriver off the tee a few times.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be about, for somebody who drives at 300 yards, about 25 yards shorter, 25 yards shorter. And then you just have a lot of flexibility. You can tee it high and draw it if you want to. You could tee it low and fade it. There's some interesting things that happen with the gear effect, that if you hit low on the face, it'll impart a little bit of cut spin. This is a big advantage. You actually have a little bit more versatility and shot shaping with this club as well.
Got it. I think for me, it makes the most sense because, I never hit a 3 wood into. I mean, I resonate with that just from anecdotally. Like I'll bash a hybrid more likely than hit a 3 wood up next to a green, just because I want the control. Because a 3 wood, it feels like, has such a bigger dispersion than hitting a hybrid into a par 5. So that makes sense. And then when I have, like last year, I got back into tournament golf a bit, and I think one of the first qualifiers I played of the year, it was a 3 wood off the second tee box. Just because you needed to be under 280 or something like that,
Yeah,
right? And so I step up there, I had I don't remember what club I had at the time, but I topped it right into the lake right in front of me, and it was wonderful. It was a great way to start the day. And I mean, I didn't hit that club, the rest of the year. It was like, I'm done. I'm never doing that again.
Cordy, I kind of view it as like, let's say you're a pretty good player, like yourself or myself. You can kind of, folks get kind of the heebie-jeebies with maybe putting. They get the heebie-jeebies with chipping. And then for the better players, sometimes you can get a little fragile on your 3 wood off the tee. Like for me, I've played in, like, my very first major championship I played in, Atlanta Athletic Club. It's like it's 100%. It's like you need a 270, 280 shot, dog legs right to left. I cannot draw a drive around there. I'm so nervous. And I'm in my first tee shots with this, with like, it was I was G4, it was G10 fairway wood or something at the time. It was like pretty small and compact. And I was so nervous. And I did the same thing. I got paired with Victor Hovland when I qualified for the Waste Management a few years ago. in the first tee shots, like you normally just hit like a driving iron or hybrid down there. And I'm so nervous. I didn't have the thriver yet. I teed my regular big driver down is not the right shot, but I'm like so nervous. I just had to do it just to chip it down there. And nowadays, like I'll get just as nervous on the first tee. That's always like kind of my thing. And I always like fear that first tee shot if it's not a driver. And now if you play this club, like it's literally automatic. You can go down there, you can get steep on it. You can take a divot if you want. That ball's going down the fairway.
That's so funny. I guess this is a common thing. I've just never talked about this with anybody. The fears of, there's nothing worse than a first tee shot 3-wood or like
Oh yeah,
fairway
you
wood.
nailed it. You
Man.
nailed it. It's like you got to go. Like I need to go to therapy over this, and instead I just like I consider this club like an anti-anxiety club.
Okay, got it. What? So why? I mean, has mini driver ever crossed your guys's like development path? Like, hey, we should build a mini driver. Is it just like, no, we like this strategy of just going normal driver?
Yeah. I mean, it's something we're always researching. It's like how much there's a trade-off to how easy it is to hit off the ground. Like these, you are trading that off. Like you can't hit the big high cut floaty one over lake into a par 5, but it's very functional off the ground. Like you see good players hitting regular driver off the regular DODs. Like this thing is very functional. I've made eagles hitting this thing from 280 on a par 5 and things of that nature. So it's always something we're researching. But I think we've seen these players, like if you're going to go in on mini driver, thriver, 2-wood, whatever, second driver club in your bag, why not just go macro? Like the moment of inertia when we've measured some of like the mini drivers, fairway woods out there, again, they're like, half what they would be is if you just went all the way to the big one. So it's like we've seen really good success with it, but some are, continue to study and test. But I think this category is kind of like here to stay for the faster swing speed player. You'll see players convert into this and never go back to a 3-wood, right?
Have you had players just like ditch the long driver and just hit this one too, and then just stick with this short one?
You know what? There's an interesting, like Tristan Lawrence is one of those. Tristan Lawrence, he's one of those that plays his driver at like 43.5.
Okay.
He's an oddball. He is an oddball today where he plays his regular driver like at that length. And obviously he did good, almost won the Open Championship last year playing it in the wind, and just a totally crafty player, super shot maker. He's like the only one that plays like this short of a driver as his gamer driver. Like we actually see the opposite trend from the rest of our tour players at 45.5, a lot at 46 and things of that nature. I think if you play these two, you can re-optimize your regular driver to be a little bit longer for longer distance.
I mean, I find it hard. Went down and hung out with John Sinclair and did an awesome fitting with him, and came home with a 45.5 and a 46. And he was really trying to convince me that I needed the 45.5 because I hit it more solidly. But you just can't take those extra 2 or 3 mile an hour out of my bag when I put the 40. You're not going to convince me that I need the shorter one that goes slower. Like I don't know how to get over that hump. But it's like it's a real difference, like a meaningful difference going to 46 and just trying to get as fast as you can with that club.
Yeah, totally, Cordy. We actually built a tool. We have this great fitting tool called Ping Copilot, and we built this for all of our fitters out there. I mean, we have 4,000 fitting accounts using this Copilot tool, and one of the little widgets in there is that you can do a strokes gain comparison. Let's say you could collect data on your own launch monitor at home, and you feed in like the distance gain between those two, 45.5 and 46, and then you punch in your like offline standard deviation from TrackMan, or if you got a quad, it's like the side number in there and the plus or minus standard deviation, and it's just you're just putting in the compute for left-right dispersion, and then you plug in your handicap because the importance of distance to accuracy is contextual to your skill level, your handicap, because then the strokes gain compounds on the way into the green, and then also your course difficulty, right? So if you plan a tight course, very penalizing, out of bounds water, whatever, we have a little slider in there. You can pick your golf course difficulty, and you run a computation rooted in strokes gained. Like all of Mark Brody's calculations are right in there to say, okay, maybe you hit it, Cordy, like 10 yards further with the 46, but your dispersion is like 2 yards wider. Would that be a positive strokes gained or not? And the answer is yes. For a better player, the ratio is 2-1. So if you gain 10 yards, as long as you don't increase your dispersion by more than 5, that is a positive strokes gain. And this is the calculus that the tour players, I think, are naturally, they've naturally iterated their way to. We have this compute, they can run it. Probably guys like Bryson have literally run this, with folks like Chris Como. So we can run the numbers, but we can also do this in a fitting protocol to help inform that decision should you go longer or shorter in your fitting. So it's really cool to be fitting using strokes gain analytics.
Got it. So the 2-1 rule, if my normal driver is 70-yard wide dispersion,
Yes.
if I can gain 10 more yards and go to 75 yards, then that's an acceptable trade-off.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And the ratio of distance to accuracy, if you're a less skilled golfer that hits it shorter, it's even more of a premium to distance than accuracy. That ratio is 3-1. So let's say you're a 10 handicapper above that drives it shorter than 250 yards. That calculus is then 3-1. So it's a good kind of heuristic. 2-1 for like the fast swing speed, better players, 3-1 for 250 and below, higher handicappers, or, you use our Ping Copilot tool that does all the nuance computation down to the nearest, 1/100th of a strokes gain point,
Sure. I'm going to have to do that. That's great. I love that. So the driver really has to be more accurate then. If you're taking 20 or to 25 yards off your normal driver, you got to get 10 yards tighter in your dispersion.
Yes.
That sounds hard. That sounds challenging.
Yes. Well, the way to think about the thriver is to compare it to a 3-wood, right? You want to compare it to a 3-wood. So compared to a 3-wood, our testing is you'll hit it at least 40% tighter dispersion. I mean, that is like gigantic.
Okay. Yeah.
So if we plug those numbers, I think I did this. Let me see if I can pull up our Copilot thing. Yes,
Yeah.
if you plug those numbers into our strokes gain calculator, like let's say both of them, Cordy, go exactly 270.
Okay.
And you tighten your dispersion by 40%, you're going to gain 1.8 strokes gained driving just through that tighter dispersion, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send you a little graphic on that from our strokes gain calculator.
Okay. And that's what you're seeing when people hit the thriver versus the 3-wood then?
Yeah, off the tee, both on-course analytics, captured from on-course play, as well as testing here with player testing at the Ping Proving Grounds. We do a nice job of kind of our protocol that we do the testing. We have folks aim between a couple poles out there that are 20 yards wide. We gamify it, we score it. We have we put a little heat on them and pressure on them. We have a little leaderboard. Players really focus in. They cycle between clubs, make sure they kind of cleanse their palate, not get in the groove from block, et cetera.
Got it. Okay, I guess the last thing then would be building like one of these things. We talked about it earlier, but we're cutting down to I've got your graph pulled up here, but a 5-wood shaft then is what you're doing pretty much.
Yeah, either 3-wood or 5-wood shaft. I mean, again, it kind of just depends on what distance you're trying to optimize for. I think as a default, if you plug a 3-wood shaft in there, that's a good way to go. Then you have to get the head weight up. So if somebody orders it from us, Ping directly, we build it to the perfect head weight through, a combination of added weight to the head and our CG shifter. We can hit a D3, D4 swing weight just fine. You can use I think we get questions around, do I need to tip the shaft more and things of that nature? I think just generally, just a fairway wood shaft, a 3-wood shaft, maybe 10 grams heavier than your driver shaft is. You could just think of the shaft fitting same as you would a 3-wood. Some folks go a little flatter and they use our trajectory tuning sleeve. Like I play it in our flat dot position, which is 3 degrees flatter. That just keeps it a little more cut bias for me. And then I put the big old honking CG shifter in the back, which helps tune the left-right bias. It's nice to have that option because some players want to have this club be a little more draw bias. I'm kind of uses a little more cut bias. And then if I want to draw it, I tee it high. So we have a lot of good fitting options on that front. But 3-wood shaft, D3, D4 swing weight if you're kind of a traditional swing weight player. And it's It's a super fun build.
How far off? So if someone wants to go play around with this, like how far off is the swing weight going to be if I just go literally take my 3-wood shaft?
It's going to be a lot.
Okay.
If you want to tinker with it at home or you got an extra 12-degree head around, you're going to have to just load it up with some lead tape,
Okay.
Probably 12, 15 grams of lead tape, somewhere in that ballpark.
Got it. So if someone wants to mess around with it, just have your lead tape on hand and
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But if you want build an optimized or order an optimized one from us, we'll build it perfectly.
Got it. Is this an option? Like you guys have this on the site where you can?
Yeah, it's like a little secret menu option. It's like going to In-N-Out and getting it animal style. We could definitely do it. We got a great build spec. Little graphic you have is actually kind of our guide to fitters for how to order it, what to use, what to consider, why to do it. So we're definitely seeing a little uptick in this. And yeah, it is a little nichey because in my opinion, because it is kind of faster, better players only. But again, I think it's a category that's going to be here to stay.
Sorry, one more nerdy question here. If we're trying to fit for this, are we looking for a higher spin rate than normal and like a higher launch than normal, or what are we looking for?
Yeah, again, I think it's very, very dependent according on tee height and
Okay.
and play. You got a lot of options. So you can go really high on the tee height, like your regular driver, if you tee it medium or high, or you can go super low. So my preference, and I think what we're seeing most of the tour guys do, is tee it kind of low to medium low, and get their attack angle more down. And as your attack goes down, your spin goes up. So like that's a big thing. Like the players, you're going to hit more down on it. And when you hit more down, your spin's going to go up. So I think when you think about spin rate, you want to keep this thing like over 3,000, depending on your attack angle. So if you tee it low and you hit more down, it's actually a good thing to have your spin like, between 3,000, 3,500 for like a stock one. And then obviously if you tee it higher, hit a little higher in the face, maybe level out your attack angle a little bit, you can take spin off.
Got it. Why the 12-degree head? Is that just because you kind of have a more down attack angle on it? Is that why?
Yeah, just to get it to go short enough.
Okay.
We have all kinds of really cool tools to help find the perfect launch and spin for a driver fitting. And a bunch of our fitters and customers, Cordy, were like, well, I need a optimizer for irons. And the question was like, well, what are you trying to do on your irons? And if it's maximized distance, you end up just working your way to our driver chart, which is like, gives you for angle of attack and ball speed, like it gives you the perfect launch and spin to find. Then you can kind of tune based on golf ball on top of that. And we like doing that here at Ping as well. But yeah, it's because you're trying to hit a certain number in that 12-degree loft. Again, actual loft on it's 13.5 is a very nice sweet spot to kind of hit your distance number.
Got it. I think we've got all the details on a Thriver now. I think that everyone is fully equipped at this point to either decide, yes, I absolutely need one and go order one right now, or decide I don't know what the other option is to, maybe potentially top a 3-wood off the tee the next time they go play.
Yeah, I think it's just like, it's one of those things that I think better players, like we talked about, Cordy, like your experience or mine, it's like, it's kind of in either your conscience or maybe in your subconscious. It's like one of those things that like hindsight's 20/20. Like, oh yeah, I don't ever hit this off the ground. Oh yeah, I do get really nervy always with my 3-wood. You know what I mean? And it can make a really big difference to your scoring. In Arizona golf, Cordy, all the section tournaments I play, I hit this club a ton because it's just like targety, like the fairway will run out at 290. It's like, okay, I got to just chip one down there and have my 150 shot in. So it's going to be how important this club is. It's going to be contextual to the player where they're playing golf. But there's a lot of good players out there that need this club and might be a little fragile with their 3-wood.
All right. Well, this is good. What else is on the secret club ordering menu? Are there any other clubs that I need to know about?
We got a lot of tricks up our sleeve here, but no, I think the Thriver's kind of probably the most fun and valuable secret menu option that we got.
Cool. Love it, dude. Thanks for the time. And wait, actually, where on the site do I go to order one of these? Hold on. Let's give people the full info
just
in case they need to go do this.
No. Go find a fitter, man. Ping. We have a great network of highly trained fitters So what you'll want to do is go out and you go to ping.com and go to our Find a Fitter tool. You can even filter by folks who have different launch monitors, who are using our Copilot, who are doing ball fitting, who are Ping Proving Ground certified. So we got a great Find a Fitter tool. I would go on there, type in your zip code, get a rank ordered list on our Find a Fitter tool, and go ask about it.
Perfect. And then if I want to do that Copilot thing that you mentioned, we're plugging that in. Can anyone do that, or is that just for fitters that are
Right now, it's a tool reserved for our fitters, Cordy,
Okay.
but over the next few years, we're going to make some more of these tools available directly to consumers, which will be really fun. I will direct folks to a couple really cool tools that we have. One is called WebFit Wedge for wedge fitting. This is to help you find your grind and gapping on your wedges. It's really cool. So if you Google that or go to our site, WebFit Wedge, we have an awesome fitting tool for consumers called WebFit Junior that fits our Prodigy product. So if you got a kiddo getting into the game and it helps you build their bag, it does gapping for your kid. Like if you put in your kid's age, or if you have their ball speed or driver distance, we'll gap their entire set, which kids have no idea how far they hit the ball. So it's really good. So that's a really good one. And then we just launched our new Scottsdale putter line, and we built a WebFit putter tool, which is not meant to replace an in-person fitting, but it's kind of to help you narrow down like which models might be really good for you. So there's a couple really cool tools consumers can play around with. And I would think about, if you're a consumer, think about those tools as like your practice round for your fitting. So do that before you go in for your fitting. You'll have a major jump start, and you'll be kind of a little bit more targeted and surgical for things to look for and to be more educated.
Sweet. Actually excited about that junior one. I gotta get my 7-year-old some new clubs. I think
Perfect. Perfect timing, man. I got a 8-year-old. So
Okay.
yeah, I would love your feedback on it. Go to WebFit Junior. Just takes
Okay.
like a couple minutes. You enter their height, wrist to floor, how far they hit the ball, a few other things. And then you can play around with, Cordy, how many clubs you want in their bag. So
Okay.
like a full bag of junior clubs, I think is 11, but like your
Okay.
7-year-old, you might only want to go like odds or evens, start with a little starter set, and it will kind of do that for you. And it'll give you the gaps. Like, oh, what if I add one more club? The gaps will get a little shorter. What if I add a little more? And you can print out a PDF that has a yardage card that you can print out, put in your yardage book. So when you're caddying for them at this little club tournament, you'll have a little idea how far you can hit a good shot, basically.
Sweet. Sick. I love that. Is that the future? Are you trying to build as many tools like that as you can and like try to empower people?
Absolutely. Yes. So my team is working on, we want to have the best tools for our fitters, and then we want to have our golfers, like our customers, be super educated, be empowered, go into your fitter, ask them really good questions, have like a really good jump start on what things you should be considering. Yeah, those are some good things that, you probably know. Shane Bacon and I have a podcast, Ping Proving Grounds podcast. We talk about all kinds of the stuff. He's another one that's playing the Thriver and won't go back.
Okay. All right. We got the Thriver army. Is there Thriver merch yet? And like,
not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I need to get to work.
We gotta get some t-shirts, some hats. I don't know. This is the new mission. But
we need
thanks, Marty, for sharing.
Hey, Joe Mayo's got this.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the 2-wood. So maybe we could play off that. I mean, I don't know. We'll ideate that later.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get something together. We'll get ChatGPT to come up with some logo. How about that?
Exactly.
All right, Marty. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
All right, Corey. That was fun.